Hello and welcome back to Entrepreneur Money Stories. Have you ever wondered what type of healthcare expenses are tax deductible as a small business owner? Today, we're going to learn how to deduct your healthcare costs as a small business owner because it is time to save money on our taxes and, more importantly, in my opinion, run your business like the CEO. I know that each and every one of you are. For anybody who I have not met, my name is Danielle Hayden. I am an entrepreneur and money expert. And in this video, we are going to break down exactly what healthcare costs are deductible depending on the type of entity that you have. Now, in researching this episode and putting together this content, I realized over and over again that tax accountants love to get nitty gritty in the details. It is part of the personality of a tax accountant. And so today I want to keep this really high level. I want you as a small business owner and entrepreneur, I am just like you. I get really bogged down with the details. So we're going to keep this at a high level so you know exactly what to have a conversation with your tax accountant about. So I'm not going to specifically give you the line item to review on your tax return. We're going to keep this high level, fundamental, so you know what to look at and how to have a discussion with your tax accountant. Let's start off with the difference between out-of-pocket medical costs versus insurance premiums, because these can both be a tax deduction, but they're actually very different. So in the course of the year, you're going to your doctor, you're paying your copays. If you're on a high deductible plan, you are paying into that high deductible as you go throughout the year, right? So these are all of the costs for services and treatment that are not necessarily covered by your health insurance plan. So these are doctor office visits, prescription medications, hospital stays, all those medical tests, laboratory tests, equipment, those things that you are responsible for paying. These might be deductible on your tax return. However, only if you are not taking the standard deduction on your return. These would be a deduction on your personal return, not your business. So these out-of-pocket expenses, keep track of them year over year so that you can have a conversation with your tax accountant on whether or not you'll be taking the standard deduction or itemized, and then therefore take those deductions on your personal tax return. Now, where I want to spend the meat and potatoes of today's episode is talking about our insurance premiums for health insurance, because this is where, as a business owner, we have some room, some space to really make sure that we are taking advantage of these tax expenses. So the premiums are the regular payments that you make to your health insurance provider to maintain your health insurance coverage, right? So these are the payments that you're making on a monthly basis that are not paid to your doctor's office. This is paid directly to your insurance carrier for your benefits and coverage. These are to make sure that your insurance policy remains active. Very different than those out-of-pocket costs that you're incurring throughout the year. So let's talk about it in terms of your entity type. So when we are paying our insurance premiums to our insurance carrier, if you are an LLC, then this is a deduction. This will be a deduction on your personal tax return. You can typically deduct the health insurance premiums that you pay for yourself, your spouse, and your dependents on your personal income or your federal income tax return. So it's really important as an LLC that you know that those costs are actually deductible and have that conversation with your tax accountant. Again, I'm not going to tell you which box to go look at because I will tune out immediately, just like you will. All right, now let's talk about S Corps. Now, if you are still contemplating whether or not to become an S Corp, I want you to go back and listen to episode 115, where we went into all of the details about becoming an S Corp, what that means for your business. We have a bonus episode on reasonable compensation. So if you are not sure what I'm talking about as I talk through these insurance premiums, I want you to start back on episode 115. listen about all the details of becoming an S Corp, listen to the bonus episode on reasonable compensation, and then come back to the health insurance, right? Let's take this in steps. So as an S Corp, it is best practices to pay your premiums to your health insurance carrier directly. So coming from your business checking account to your health insurance carrier, paying those premiums directly. Now, if you forgot to do that this year, it's okay. I want you to create an accountability plan to reimburse yourself if your business didn't pay for it. So in this accountability plan, you will then reimburse yourself to your personal account for the costs that you have paid in your insurance premiums personally. Best practice, pay your premiums directly from your business account. If you forgot this year, don't worry about it. I want you to create an accountability plan with your tax accountant and reimburse yourself right now, right? Let's do this before the end of the year. Because for S Corps, it is really important that our premiums are part of payroll. Our insurance premiums need to go through payroll. And the good news is that our medical premiums that we pay will help you reach your reasonable compensation calculation. So our reasonable compensation is the compensation that we must pay ourselves as an S Corp. Now remember, this isn't my rule. It's not Kickstart Accounting's rule. This is the rule from the IRS. The IRS says that as a business owner, you are required to pay yourself a reasonable salary. Once you paid yourself that reasonable salary, you can then take owner's draws. We have to pay ourselves a reasonable salary first. I'm going to say that again. You have to pay yourself the reasonable compensation first before you start taking owner's draws. If you're not sure how to pay yourself a reasonable compensation or what that means, I want you to go to kickstartaccountinginc.com/reasonable comp to get your reasonable compensation calculation right now. Now, the good news is that as you pay these insurance premiums, those medical premiums are going to go through payroll. You're going to gross up your salary. And therefore, those premiums are going to help you reach that reasonable compensation quicker so that you can start taking owner's draws, right? We want you to get paid as a business owner, but we have to pay ourselves correctly. So we're going to pay ourselves the reasonable compensation first. We're going to put our medical premiums through payroll, gross up that salary, and hit our reasonable compensation faster. The health insurance that is paid and reported through payroll, this is a business expense. So it must go through payroll in order to be a business expense. However, once it has gone through payroll, this is now a business expense for you as a business owner. So when we're paying our insurance premium, we are lowering the amount of net income that our business will have to pay taxes on at the end of the year. So it's really important. Again, health insurance must be paid through the business checking account, and then it's paid through payroll, and then we can take it as a business expense. So we want to maximize our tax deductions. We want to minimize our tax liability, and this is the best way to do it, okay? One other caveat that I want to mention here is that keep in mind when you gross up your wages and payroll for those premiums, those additional wages are not subject to Social Security, Medicare, or unemployment taxes. So we get some benefits, right? We get benefits as an S Corp and handling things in the most professional best practices format, right? Have you heard yourself saying, I'm scared to invest money in my business because what if it doesn't come back? I don't know how much to pay myself, so I won't take a paycheck yet. I'm reinvesting in the business anyway. Or how about, I'm not going to spend any more money until I know exactly where my money is going. Well, let me tell you, you are not alone. In fact, we have heard all of these stories and more throughout the last 9 years at Kickstart Accounting Inc. And that is why we have created the Money Mindset Mastery Framework to finally unlock and overcome these stories, to finally feel confident in your financial decisions and pay yourself what you deserve. The first step to create a profitable and successful business is to first understand your money mindset. Find out your money mindset personality type by going to kickstartaccountinginc.com/quiz. I can't wait to hear what your money mindset type is. So I want to give you 3 scenarios that were given directly from the IRS website that I think is really important for us to know and understand as we're making this decision on who's going to be paying the health insurance deductions and whose name the insurance policy is going to be on. So if you, as the business owner or shareholder, purchase the health insurance in your name, right, in your personal name, and paid for the premiums with your own funds, then you, the business owner, shareholder, would not be allowed to take this deduction. Now, if the business obtains and pays the health insurance in the business name and covers the business owner under the policy and reports the premiums on the W-2 wages to the shareholder, right? So let's not get technical. Just means that we put the premiums through payroll. Then the business owner is allowed to take the deduction. Lastly, if you, the business owner, purchase the health insurance in your own name, but the S corporation either directly paid for the health insurance or reimbursed you, the business owner, for the health insurance, and also included the premium payment in the business owner's W-2, then the shareholder, business owner, would be allowed the deduction. So bottom line, right? This is the bottom line, that in order for you as a business owner to claim the deduction, the health insurance premiums must be paid by the corporation, the business, and must be reported as taxable compensation on your W-2. Just means that it needs to go through payroll. Now, we use Gusto for all of our clients. So when you work with the Kickstart Accounting Inc. team, we set all of our clients up on Gusto. This makes it really easy to report the health insurance premiums through payroll. So I recommend that you talk to whoever you are using for payroll to really simply, easily add your premiums to your payroll cost, to your W-2. I want to touch on employees. If you are paying for a group plan and you are paying for your employees' health insurance, then it's really important that this goes through payroll. In order for it to be a tax deduction, these costs need to go through payroll. So for employees, just like you, the business owner, that group plan needs to go through payroll. All right, one last strategy that I want to mention before the end of the year, because it's a great opportunity for business owners and non-business owners to take advantage of. So this is the HSA. The HSA is a savings account that allows you to be able to set aside money pre-tax to cover medical expenses. So these expenses can include those out-of-pocket things that we were talking about at the beginning. This includes doctor's visits, prescription medications, dental, vision care, all of those healthcare costs that are coming out of our pocket throughout the year. So contributions to the HSA are made through payroll deductions, where both you as the employer, the business owner, and the employee can contribute on a pre-tax basis. This is a pretty incredible opportunity that the IRS gives us to be able to contribute tax-free, right? We're making pre-tax contributions. Then any interest or investment earnings within the HSA, they grow tax-free. It's pretty incredible, right? So we get to keep all of those earnings and let that grow tax-free. There's also no use it or lose it rule. So these funds will year over year continue to roll over. And even if you close your business, you can still keep that HSA account open. This is a really flexible option to be able to invest. I know we have some clients who really think of their HSA as almost a retirement savings account. It is another way for business owners to be able to contribute to their personal wealth, to their long-term financial independence. So HSA members can contribute a specific amount because, of course, the IRS gives us a ton of rules to abide by, right? So if you have single coverage in 2023, you can contribute $3,850. And for a family, you can contribute $7,750, okay? So an HSA is an incredible tax vehicle that as business owners and employees, we should be taking advantage. Now, I just want to touch on a few S-Corp considerations because, of course, as an S-Corp, everything is a little bit more difficult. It's worth it. I promise it's worth it. So in order to be eligible, S-Corp owners must actively participate in the business and be considered employees. And I think most of our listeners here, if you're listening to this podcast, you actively participate in your business. But here's the other one. You must receive reasonable compensation for your services. And this compensation needs to be through salary and wages. However, here's another piece of good news. Our HSA contributions, they can help us reach our reasonable compensation because they are going to go through payroll. All right. So to contribute to the HSA, you also have to be covered by a high deductible health insurance plan. So you can't have an HSA and then have one of those back in corporate, we call them the Cadillac policy. So if you have an insurance policy that is very generous, you will not be able to contribute to an HSA. However, if you have a high deductible health plan, you can contribute to an HSA. And as always, right, I want to leave you with this caveat before we end, that we have to keep good records. You need to communicate with your money team. We have had so many people throughout the years who have said to us, money team, I was paying for my health insurance through my personal account. Well, we would have no idea if you are paying for your health insurance premiums through your personal account. So it's really important that after you listen to this episode, you go and you take a few moments for some due diligence. How are you paying your health insurance premiums today? Are they coming from your personal account or your business account? Then I want you to schedule a call with your money team. Talk to your bookkeeper and talk to your tax accountant to make sure that they're capturing this. If your money team didn't know that you had a health insurance policy and they set up your payroll for you, I promise you, your money team wants to help you and they want to do things the right way, but they only have the information that you give them. So if you have payroll as an S Corp, which you should, and you have a health insurance policy, schedule a call with your money team to make sure that the premiums are going through payroll and that these are being tracked correctly. If you are using an HSA plan, I want you to keep all of your receipts. Keep good record keeping. I think that we have learned as business owners that we can't get away with the I didn't know mentality. It is our job, it is our responsibility to make sure that we are keeping good records. We're having those conversations with our money team and that we're doing our due diligence as business owners. If you have any questions, I want to hear from you. Go to Instagram and send us a DM at Kickstart Accounting. You can send us an email at support@kickstartaccountinginc.com. And if you are a Kickstart Accounting client, I want you to go schedule a meeting with your money team right now. It is year end. It is time for us to make sure that these things are in the correct systems in the correct way. And if you need a money team, if you do not have a money team, go to kickstartaccountinginc.com and book a call. You'll talk to myself or one other member of my team to talk about your specific situation, to see if we are a good fit, to see if we can help you as a business owner get to the next level. I want each and every one of you to create healthy, sustainable, profitable businesses. And the best way we can do that is to know our numbers and use our numbers to run our business. All right, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We have so much amazing content coming, and I don't want you to miss a thing.